being an overindulgent and spoiled American by the most overindulgent and spoiled Americans. Is that part of the problem? Well, let's go find out right now. I don't think, I'm not saying my monologue killed, but I thought my walkover really worked on a lot of levels.
You look good, boss. Excellent.
One of the great things about this country is that everybody is guaranteed freedom of expression. So why are celebrities getting such flack?
I don't think it's about freedom of expression. I think it's because they try to come off like they're such progressive, free thinkers, when the reality is they're just easily led little worms, and their greatest fear isn't going to war. It's being ostracized from the rest of the left-wing dickheads in Hollywood. And I think people would respect them more if they had an original thought. It's like, stop quoting John Lennon. He wasn't a social prophet or an angel of mercy. He was just a bright guy who smoked pot and married an ugly chick.
It depends who the celebrity is, you know what I mean? If it's a guy that like hosts America's Funniest Home Videos for 5 years, the guy's a whore. I mean, he's watching guys...
Hey, leave Saget alone.
He's watching guys...
He means the other guy.
He's watching guys get hit in the nuts with a wiffle ball bat, and that's what he does for a living. Now he's going to judge people on moral and ethical issues?
Well, I think maybe they should, maybe if the celebrity hasn't been on a hit television show or a movie in the last, say, 8 years, he should
Leave me out of it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Those kind of people, like Mike Farrell, really should be limited to the celebrity mold, I think, you know what I mean? As opposed to, you know...
And no, I don't think anyone's saying that you can't have freedom of speech. I think the bottom line is they're phonies, and people can sense that they're phony. It's like the human shield. It's all attention-seeking. You want to be a human shield? Have sex with a girl I like, and if you don't keel over and die in 6 months, I'll know that I can bang her.
That's very beautiful. Now, but also, I think...
I'm sure that if celebrities knew that you put that out there, they would certainly...
I think a lot of the problem, too, is that, like, you know, it's a little presumptuous. If Tim Robbins is telling people how to run a war, it's like Colin Powell going on the set of his movie or telling you guys, you know what your act needs? I mean, there's a little bit of that amateur kind of thing to it.
Celebrities don't need to know about the issues. They're celebrities. Oh. I mean, does Bill Cosby need to know about, you know, the fact that they put in Jell-O? Does Britney Spears need to know that, you know, Pepsi is brown because they add duty to it?
Hey, Sarah. Thanks, Sarah. You know, we were hoping Pepsi was one of our sponsors down the road. I think they have a new young campaign, don't they, or some shit?
Don't mention Britney and duty in the same sentence.
Oh, you get him excited.
Really?
Nick has a theory about Britney. What is it? That she doesn't actually go to the bathroom?
Yeah, that ass is... I don't think duty comes out of her butt. I think it's like strawberry yogurt. It's in a swirl. Sprinkles on it. It's in a sugar cone. It's got my name on the side of it. Beside the issue. Let's get back to the politics.
I know a guy who's got a tape that'll shatter that illusion of yours.
How provocative.
Oh, Fred Durst.
Yeah. You know what the sad thing is? I'm sitting here trying to be above it, but you're like, ooh, really? Yeah. Now, let me ask you this.
Wait, I was just to interject, I mean, who isn't a celebrity, though, really? Like, is Chris Matthews not a celebrity? Is Riley, is he not a celebrity? I mean, aren't they celebrities?
But they became celebrities by talking about these issues. It's not a side hobby.
Well, that just means that they have a very limited act.
Well...
Yeah, Mike Farrell played a soldier,
but
so
don't
he knows
you think, I mean, to me, one of the things that bothers me, because I'm thinking, why should it bother, is the presumptuousness of people, because one of the reasons the Muslims claim to hate the West is the decadent culture and the cultural imperialism that we import.
Oh, yeah.
So these are the people that import that cultural imperialism, so it's almost like you go, like the cops go into a house where the wife got beat up by the husband, and then when they start to arrest him, they'll go, get off him, and start smacking him.
Right.
There's a little bit of that.
Too.
But are Martin Sheen, Mike Farrell, and Martin Short really sitting around smoking DMT, you know, masturbating to kiddie porn with nipple clamps on? Are they that decadent?
No, but I mean, the products, like, you know, all these big music guys and all these big people in Hollywood, all the big music producers, all the big studio guys are also outraged by this war, and they're part of the reason that this thing happened.
Well, your body of work should, I think, dictate how much time you're allowed to spend on the soapbox. Like, again, out of respect for Wall Street and Apocalypse Now, Martin Sheen should be able to talk as much as he wants.
Right.
Whereas Alec Baldwin should have to write down all his thoughts on an index card and hold it up as he runs by the audience.
I'd vote for Martin Sheen for president.
And where? Well, that's just because you saw him as president on West Wing.
It's true!
All right, fine. Really? But let me say this. A lot of it is the hypocrisy, too. If I see the movies, they go, oh, the corporations are evil. But, you know, they do all these movies. Who finances their movies? Doctors Without Borders? You know?
Right. But also the same guys that pay the actors are the same guys that pay, you know, your check or Chris Matthews' check. Everyone's getting the same paycheck.
Yes.
It's just I think sometimes the people that run the corporations, usually they're Republican, aren't they?
The Republicans own it, but the day-to-day operations are handled by gay women in flannel shirts.
White men. Hey, what if, don't forget the Jews. Don't forget the Jews.
Well, I was going to say that, but, you know, come on, we don't know who's watching. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, Tim Robbins has been saying whatever he wants for 15 years. Nobody stops him from making movies. I don't think that they, you know, I don't think we live in this. Plus, the other thing that reminds me of that I don't like is everybody always starts, they always start with, like, America is a racist nation. You know, not everybody, but a lot of people start from the premise that we're out to kill all brown people in the world. And once they lose me right there. You know what I mean?
Right. We're out to sell them rap records, is really
exactly.
What it is. Yeah.
Thank you for trying to save me. I think the bottom line is you shouldn't listen to celebrities just because they're famous. So stay right there, because Catherine Zeta-Jones has an important message about your cell phone. Hey, with the arrest of the Al-Qaeda fat boy last week, now we have to deal with the question of torture. We don't do it ourselves, but we do get slick and turn them over to guys and governments that do justify the ends and the means by putting your balls on a hot plate. And so, should we torture Khalid Sheikh Mohammed?
Well, you know, in my experience of being tortured, I've never found it, like, if I'm being, like, let's say high school, for instance, a test in high school, like, if that is torture, and if I don't know the answer, I'm going to say something. So I'm not sure that, you know, it's ever really that successful, because they're going to say something, you know, they're going to say, at B, and if the answer is C, they're wrong. But I don't think that he should be tortured unless they televise it. And if they televise it, I'd like Joe Rogan to host, and there should be other contestants. I think maybe, you know, a couple of celebrities, some terrorists. You know, it should be good entertainment for everybody.
This guy would be easy to torture. You know, after looking at his picture, you need, like, what, a meat lover's pizza and a hairbrush. You know what I mean? Just give him a tit twister, and he'll be on his way.
I don't believe in torture. I really don't, guys. I think we should just turn him over to the ACLU and then apologize for provoking the attack by inventing airplanes and buildings and then educating that baboon in one of our universities.
Well, I think you're being sarcastic. And I just want to say...
That's a very serious allegation, miss.
Hasn't this Khalid suffered enough? I'm just kidding. Let's torture him.
No, but the point is, the downside of torture... Geez, I thought everybody would be anti-torture. Everyone's pro-torture. But
Wait, did you say the downside of torture?
Yeah.
What could that possibly be?
Well, because we're talking about the lighter side of torture.
Oh, okay.
No, but I mean, the point is, if you torture people, then what happens if we get... Isn't the whole point we're going to Iraq is because this guy tortures people, and we hate that kind of savagery and barbarity? I'll say a word till somebody says something quick.
Do unto
that
others,
kind of,
right?
Oh, you're saying that are we going to be known as just the same as the rest of them? But if we start torturing people?
No. I'm saying that if we torture people,
yeah.
I mean, our whole point is to get away, be less like that than a lot of other places.
Yeah, and there's also the fear of an escalation, a torture Cold War.
We're doing
like,
it
what are they doing?
Yeah. You know, we're doing it for a reason. I mean, you know, Saddam, like on a Sunday afternoon, he's bored, he gives somebody an acid bath. I mean, it's not the same thing.
But in his own mind, he thinks he's doing it for a good reason. He thinks these people are traitors.
Well, he actually thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what he does. He listens to Frank Sinatra while he tortures people.
And they're screaming, he's going, oh,
right. He's torturing them by playing Frank Sinatra Jr., I think. I squeeze that one in anyway. I don't care how it's bombed. All right, so let's think of a different torture. Well, what do you think, you know, in our culture, what's acceptable torture? Depriving people of sleep, a light slapping of the face.
Back-to-back episodes of Friends.
A light torture, not back-to-back, one.
Oh.
Torture works. It's the only thing that keeps society from lapsing into anarchy is the threat of some sort of torture. I don't pay my taxes because I love to give the government my money. I pay my taxes because if I don't, they're going to put me in a place where a man is going to grab my skull and use my mouth as a petri dish.
And you do look like you could be a torturer or a torture victim. That's the interesting thing about you.
Oh, no, Jim, look at him. He's definitely a bottom.
Now, don't you think torture is also natural? Look, I hate to be the idiot. When I was a little kid, we'd torture bugs. You know, we'd kill the bugs just because it was fun.
I did that, but I could never get them to talk.
Didn't you guys ever torture things? You know, throw the cat in the dryer. You ever see those psycho kids that do that, the bad kids? Oh, I didn't do it. I take the cat to the dry cleaners.
I did. I used to...
What?
Everybody blew up frogs in them 80s.
Blew up frogs?
I always hung out with the guy that blew up the frog and went, God, man, I can't believe you did that. What's wrong with you? That was cool.
Right. I always got the M80s.
But look, even if you watch like Jackass and Johnny Knoxville get kicked in the nuts, you laugh. It's fun to watch.
That's because that guy's a genius.
Well, but it's fun to watch people get hurt.
There's a difference between, I think, watching a guy fall and go boom and, tearing the legs off an animal. I mean, one is sadism and, and then there's the,
What about tearing the legs off a human? Are we straying from the point? What about that?
I mean, the point is this. Didn't you ever, like, grab your brother, hold him down, and, like, really hurt him until he gave you whatever info you wanted?
Right, which was uncle.
Yeah. And then they get older, they get bigger than you, and knock you around on your ass like my brother did to me.
My brother didn't. He got
older. My
older.
brother Dave got old and big, and he
mine did too.
But that's because you didn't do it right. My brother got older, and he's still in a wheelchair.
No.
I was saying I went too far. I was the jackass.
Oh, no. That was wrong, man.
That was wrong,
How could you?
When I was little, my stepbrother would pin me down with his knees and shove grass up my nose. And you know what? He was 30. He was.
Maybe there was a little, psychosexual thing going on. Maybe he got molested on a baseball field. All right, look, if you made it through the show this far, you'd probably be able to stand up to any secret police techniques in Eastern Europe. If they still have secret police over there, I don't really know. Don't change around. There's nothing that you haven't seen. We'll be right back. On a new... Oh, let me tell you, there's a lot of kids out there right now, girls going wild. All these teen girls are really confused, and if there's one thing we're both familiar with, it's the heartache of being a teenage girl. If they got better advice in these teen magazines, they could be spared some of the hell we've gone through, all right? What we did was we took some actual letters. We had to move them because they're legal. We can't say the magazine. And legal, And Sarah and I are going to give these kids some practical answers. Sarah, would you like to hit us off?
Okay, this one is from Ashley from Teaneck, New Jersey, and she says, when things go bad, I feel like I'm having a nervous breakdown. How can I feel like I have a future ahead of me and that school is not the end of the world?
Well, Ashley, first of all, it sounds like you have a lot of fear brought on by the fact that the world is empty and life is void of meaning. And we are just some idiot hamster wheel called career, marriage, children, TiVo, death. But the good news is you've discovered what most people don't discover until well into their 30s. And nowadays, I don't know exactly what kind of bands you guys listen to. So go find yourself a skinny, bespectacled guy to tolerate your self-obsession. And you want to die, bitch? Join the club. I'll tell you what. We'll do it together. We'll fill up the tub, slit our wrists, put on Christina Aguilera's Beautiful, and beautiful, and slowly die. Okay, this next one's from Kiana. This one's from Kiana of Tampa, Florida. My boyfriend and I have been going out for more than a year. Recently, he told me that he can see us being together in the future, but because I'm his first girlfriend, it won't work unless he sees what else is out there. Help!
Great idea. That way, if he doesn't find anything better, he'll settle for you. Lucky you. And since you love him, if he does find something better, then you can be happy for him before you take your own life with pills. Okay, here's one for you, Colin. This one is from Tina R. from Manchester, New Hampshire. What's up with guys? I call them and they don't talk or have anything to say. They sit there like they're just holding the phone to their ear in a trance. Why are guys so quiet?
It's true we don't talk a lot, but we want you to talk to us. In fact, if you really want to keep a guy, ask him what's wrong 10 times a day. Then talk about why he doesn't talk, and ask him what he's thinking or what he was going to say when you feel like he was going to say something, even though he wasn't, every 6 seconds. This one comes from comes from Ann from Plato, Texas. I've been doing well, I won't do the accent.
Yeah, it's good.
I sound like, what's his name? Robbie. I've been dating this guy. I've been dating this guy for almost a year. I totally don't like him anymore, but I don't know how to break it off with him without hurting him.
Okay. What's her name?
Her name is Ann from Plano, Texas.
Ann, it's all about the timing. Men are never more understanding than when their penis is in a mouth. So just be sure to enunciate, and, you can practice with marbles. Oh, here we go. This is from Kim O. from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh.
I haven't had a crush on a guy for the longest time. How can I make the boring guys at my school seem more appealing?
You sound like one of those precocious gals that thinks she's too cool for the boys her own age. I can picture you now, Kim, cocky enough so that you're probably pretty good looking. But you will find that exciting guy in the form of the married partner of your father or the local Rasta drug dealer. They will seem worldly and sophisticated to you, and they'll take you to places you've never been before. Abortion clinics, interstate drug runs, the Department of Social Services. Guys in high school are too boring. Well, guess what? You don't sound like Ashley Banfield either, you provincial little idiot. All right, wait a minute. This last one is from Carla from Columbia, Maryland. I can't do a Maryland accent, sorry, but the boy I'm dating is really nice and romantic, but he always gets mad at me for not being mushy with him. I don't want to break up with him or make him mad, though. He gets pissed pretty easily.
Okay, well, he sounds like a real weirdo, but I don't know, would it kill you to disassociate for a second and throw him a little kiss in public? If you really can't bring yourself to give him the public affection he needs, why don't you tell him to do what Colin does and get a cat and put some peanut butter on his balls?
Well, I think we got some good advice there, and I appreciate that. And I'm sure our new sponsor, Skippy, will appreciate that one, too. Or maybe Pre-Weenie Cat Chow. I could go on forever. Thank you very much, Sarah. Oh, sorry. We love having you on. We'll be right back after this little naughty little word.
Think you're...
Celebrities everywhere just talk about their favorite political causes, and if you think that's painful, we asked our panel to champion a cause and choose its celebrity spokesperson. Let's start with Marc Maron.
All right, here we go. I'm for lowering the age of sexual consent. And here's why. Studies have shown that with all the hormones and steroids in food production, children are maturing physically at a much faster rate. Add to that the graphic nature of the internet, MTV, movies, and television. They're also maturing intellectually much faster as well. So the age of consent should reflect the current pace of maturation. I'm thinking maybe 15 would be fair. I mean, Juliet, after all, was 13. And I'm not talking about Shakespeare's Juliet, but this girl I was seeing a couple summers ago. And I think the best celebrity spokesperson for the job or people would probably be R. Kelly and Paula Poundstone. How's that? Is that mean?
Ooh.
It's all right.
Yeah, really. If we start moaning at those, then we're really in trouble with this thing. Sarah Silverman.
My cause is affordable vaginal rejuvenation. Now, we haven't nailed down a spokesperson yet, but we are looking for an established celebrity with a really floppy vagina, and we've got an offerette to Star Jones.
Well, you people are right. If there's two sacred cows in this country, it's Star and Paula.
Yeah.
Jim Norton.
Well. I think my cause would be insomnia because many Americans suffer from it, and my celebrity spokesperson would be Janine Garofalo. For $50, she'll show up at your house and do her act for 10 minutes until you either fall asleep or blow your brains all over the wall.
This is a tough panel. Nick DiPaolo.
My cause is to disband the PETA organization, and I'd be the celebrity spokesperson. Nobody said it had to be an A-list guy, right? PETA has its priorities all mixed up. Children are abused every day, and the biggest concern is whether a raccoon suffers a concussion during the filming of Dr. Dolittle 2. If I'm paying $10 and want to see a movie with animals in it, I don't care if a polar bear ends up in a wheelchair. As long as no people get hurt, all right?
Oh, that's good. All right, my celebrity cause, now that I see it, is a little anticlimactic, but I'm going to represent the comedians, and I'll be the representative of celebrity. First of all, then people go, oh, I guess he is a celebrity. And second of all, I want to change the names of the clubs from Knuckleheads, Skid Marks, and Titty Twisters. That sets a moronic tone, so you can't even do your act. You know how hard it is to try to be funny and, like, relevant? Well, there's a neon outline of a clown getting kicked in the ass by a giant shoe behind you. Okay, tonight we've committed sins against God and Access Hollywood. Forgive us. All right, folks, if you have any thoughts or comments about the show, go to the Comedy Central website and go to the Tough Crowd message board and write them down. We're not afraid. I don't care what you think of me. Good night.